everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel. So I'm starting off this video talking a little bit about what I'm going to show you, but I'm starting with a very big disclaimer. I have been watching so many furniture flips and I am like amateur lowest level, but I'm trying. And so my disclaimer is that the video content is not as detailed as a lot of furniture flips that you're going to see, but I'm learning the process and I'm trying to figure out how to do my setup and all that. But I did want to show you that I brought in my card making supplies for this project, which was so much fun and helps me justify my addiction to all of these wonderful supplies. So let's just get into it. So here's the piece that I am going to be redoing. This black painted piece was from the thrift store. This was a find that my husband got, and I love how much storage is in here. So it's going to go in our new living room, and I'm going to be using it for school supplies and just all the things that you want to tuck away. Took off the hardware, cleaned it, and we're going to get this thing ready to paint. So we are going to sand it first. I am, like I said, new to the entire process, so I'm new to sanding. So I couldn't tell you what grit it was. I told my husband, just put a grit on there and probably just, what do you think? And then we'll do it. I did really just do a light sanding, almost like a, what do they call it? Just a scuff sanding on this. I didn't really need to reshape anything or you know, take any paint off or anything like that. So I'm going to be using a chalk paint. So I am doing 3 coats of that. I didn't want to prime it. It just saves me one of the steps. So I am going through here and just sanding away and having a good time in my lovely painted clothes here. These are my new faves on the weekends. Definitely stylish. So I'm just going to go through that. And you can see I just have a light scuff sand on here. Just so that I can make it so that the paint is going to stick better instead of just cleaning and painting over it, which I probably could have done, quite honestly. So I go through that, and I noticed that as I'm going through, I'm actually thinking I probably had a more coarse type of sandpaper because it was taking off a little bit on the edges. So one thing I'm learning in the process is to just be very careful with your corners. I'm going to wipe that away with a damp microfiber cloth just to get all that dust off. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to pull out this paint. So I chose Rust-Oleum chalk paint in Serenity Blue. It's sort of like this aqua type of green blue. It's so pretty. I'm using a chalk paintbrush, but I believe you can use it whatever you want. And this is the first coat. So as you can see, there's a lot coming through. I'm going to need to do 3 coats on this entire project. This is coat number 2. You can see it's a lot better. I painted this in normal fashion. So I just sort of the first layer, I kind of went in like different directions with the paintbrush, but just regular painting. But this is where us crafty folks get to have some fun. So I pulled out Stencils. This one is the Botanical Sprigs from scrapbook.com. I have an ink dauber. I have some sample paint that I found for 50 cents at Home Depot. And I am just going to put that on my Tim Holtz glass mat. And I am going to then squeeze off a lot of this paint. Now I'm showing you 2 different ways that I did this, but I actually did not keep this first way. So this way I went in and I am dabbing in the paint into the stencil, and I am trying to twist as I go, but because of the type of stencil, it's a little bit more difficult to do. Now let's talk about this technique real quick. This technique was actually my favorite of the 2. However, it took a very long time to get this look. And it was a lot of squeezing the paint. You have to have a sort of a drier paintbrush or paint dauber, and you have to twist it, and it was just very cumbersome. And so I decided to go with this modeling paste instead. So I'm going to do it with these applicators. I'm going to put the modeling paste over it, and then I'm going to see this beautiful white pop off of the drawer. Now I did this on the 2 inner drawers. You can see that beautiful dimension. I took a very tiny paintbrush to clean up some of that middle area that seeped through. But this is the middle drawer of that. Okay, that's it. Those are all the things I'm going to show you as far as I did this. I know I will add more content in the future with my future projects, but let's take a look at this finished product up close. Some of the other things that I did with this is I hand painted the green grass with the same color that matches the wall behind it. And I stenciled on some beautiful white butterflies on there. And I stamped with white StazOn ink the flowers. Anytime you see a flower on this project, that was a stamp. Here are the two inner drawers. I thought they looked beautiful. Stenciling on furniture is so stunning in my opinion. So I thought that was so much fun. And I got to pull out supplies I already had. So I'm just going to show you a couple still shots here of this finished project. I really had a lot of fun with this. I turned this from a DIY for myself, or a furniture flip, quote unquote, to something that I thoroughly got to be creative with and enjoy the process of. It took me a few days to do it, of course, with all of the drying and waiting, but I love it in our living room. I think it just looks so pretty, and it's so super functional. It holds so many things. Well, that's it for my first DIY craft project for the sort of the rebranding of this channel. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this project, and if you've ever done something like this, please share. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you have, and if you want to hang out with me a little bit more. And I will link all the things I used below in the description box, as well as some other areas where we could connect on social media. I will see you all in the comments down below and in the next video. Bye-bye.